Vikings versus Texans. Before this week, I had said they were both 0-3. Both teams made the playoffs last year. Both teams won a playoff game last year. The Vikings beat the Saints, and then the Texans beat the Bills. And both of them had at least playoff aspirations for this year, or maybe even more. The Texans have, I think, the most expensive team in the league right now, so they had at least playoff hopes for this year. Like the Vikings invested a lot of money. They gave Cousins a extension. Both teams, I just want to reiterate, both teams had playoff aspirations minimum, and they both came into this week 0-3. Whoever lost was going to go to 0-4 and just done. I think both teams are done, but once you 0-4, like that's a wrap for your season. You're done. So my prediction before the game was that whoever loses this game, their coach is not going to make it to the end of the season. And the Vikings won. So fire Bill O'Brien, Texans. What are you guys waiting for? He's a bad coach. He's a worse GM. He doesn't know what he's doing. He comes from the Bill Belichick coaching tree. That's the only reason why he got this job, or why he still has this job. He's connected. He's probably connected really well. He must have some dirt on the Texans GM. That's the only reason I could see why he's still the head coach for the Texans. He has completely mishandled that team. They're in a horrible cap situations. They don't have their first round picks. They can't protect the Watson. They lost their star wide receiver. They traded for an old running back. Their defense can't stop anybody. It just looks terrible. What are the Texans doing? Fire Bill O'Brien. Move on from that mess. Help Watson. Watson is probably top 5 QB in the league. I love his game. Like, help him. They really traded his number 1 receiver, one of the best wide receivers in the league, Hopkins, for David Johnson, a washed running back that hasn't been the same in the last 3-4 years. He had like one really, really good year 4 years ago, and you traded for him. He's obviously washed. That's why the Cardinals traded for Drake, and now you traded your best wide receiver for him, and then you trade a first, I think they traded a first for Cooks, and he had 0 catches for 0 yards, 2 targets. Just, he's not a good wide receiver. He's bounced around the league. The Patriots didn't want him. The Rams didn't want him. There's a reason for this. And, it's just Bill O'Brien has just done a disservice to the Texans. He's done a disservice to Watson. It's just bad. It's embarrassing that the Texans, I think they actually gave him a contract extension this year too, at the end of last year. And he just completely mishandled that playoff game against the Chiefs. They had a 24-0 lead and they blew it, going for fake punts, and not going for it on 4th and 1 in their on the opponent's side. Like, what are you doing? I feel sorry for Texans fans. They deserve better. They had a rough end of the tenure with Matt Schaub. That ended ugly, and then now they have Watson and they had Hopkins, and they're like, all right, that's our new modern age Schaub and Andre Johnson, and it just doesn't seem like this is gonna end well either. And it just looks like, come on, we've had a good quarterback and wide receiver play for the best latter part of these last 5-10 years, and we can't get anything done. So it's just unfortunate for the Texans. They traded for David Johnson and Brandon Cooks. That should tell you all you need to know about Bill O'Brien. Fire Bill O'Brien. He's done. He lost that locker room. He's not a good coach. Get him back to New England. He's better as a coordinator. Move on from your mistake. Help Watson. Watson deserves a better coach. Someone that could actually help him out. Someone that could protect him. As far as the Vikings, I think they're done too. They got this win, which is good. But they play Seattle next, and then they play the Falcons, and then they play Green Bay again. And they're not going to beat the Seahawks. They might beat the Falcons, and they're not going to beat Green Bay. So they're going to lose 2 out of their next 3. They're already 1-3. They're about to go 2-5. At 2-5, you're done. I don't want to hear it. No, wait, 2-5, 1-3, 1-2. Yeah, 2-5. They're gonna be 2-5. Season's done. Like I said, they should have had playoff or higher aspirations. They finally got a playoff win with Cousins. last year, but they're done. That defense is too beat up. Uh, their running back Cook is running well, but he can't do everything. Honestly, Cousins is not playing all that bad. He's playing all right. But I just don't trust him to lead them into a second playoff run, or I don't trust them to bring them back this season. Like, they're 1-3. They're about to be 2-5. They're done. The one silver lining for the Vikings is that the Justin Jefferson, this big wide receiver from LSU, he looks like he's a real deal. They should be excited for him. Pairing him next to Thielen, it should be great moving forward. They just gotta retool that defense, offensive line a little bit, and just run it back maybe next year. I just don't see them coming back this year, and the schedule is hard. Green Bay and Seahawks is just gonna be tough. They might even lose to the Falcons. The Falcons, for all the crap they get, they could put up points against anybody, and the Vikings defense is beat up. So we'll see. But I think the Vikings are done. The Texans are for surely done. That's a wrap. File Bill O'Brien.